Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the RRLeagues.com Season 36 WTCR Championship. We're coming to you live from the Hungaroring for the season opener of this championship. And, whenever a new touring car series is announced at RRLeagues, an aura of steely grit can be sensed among the drivers who choose to accept one of our most demanding challenges. The fiercely competitive TCR class, with performance of the 7 manufacturers closely matched, offers the best touring car action in motorsport. We will have a grueling 8-round schedule, closely replicating the official WTCR calendar, and it will demand high performance levels of the drivers, with emotions of joy, despair, outrage, as no quarter is given. But the drivers must find a balance between aggressiveness and fairness, because else you will end up in the stewards report after the race. We currently have 33 drivers practicing on the server, and we have 14 minutes left until the first qualifying session of the championship. So let's go over some details together. Let's get to know the drivers a bit, the teams, and the full championship here at RRLeagues.com. So a new WTCR championship with a 60 kilometer opening race, set with a time limit on the server, and then a longer feature race of 120 kilometers, or the equivalent in time. 8 rounds starting today. We will also have a super pole in about 13 minutes time now, so everybody only gets one chance to get their qualification lap in, which will for sure mix up the order as we reach 34 drivers on the server right now. So at the bottom you see our calendar for this championship. It's a bi-weekly championship. We will start the season here at the Hungaroring, then we'll travel to Slovakia, the Netherlands, Germany, China, Japan, Macau, and we end the season in the middle of April at the Malaysian track. So, as I said, 60 kilometers and 120 kilometer races for this championship, with a reverse grid of the top 10. So that will be a very big battle to get in that top 10. We have, if I'm not mistaken, our 2-time touring car champion David Dorre amongst the drivers. We also have our previous WTCR champion Robert Horvat among the drivers. So it's all set to be a very tightly packed grid, with a lot of new faces as well joining us for this season, which we will get into right away. So here are the different teams that have signed up for this championship. Let's just quickly go through them. So we have Anderson Motorsport with Andre Moll and Rick Binnersley driving the Hyundai i30 TCR. And we have our custom team BH Racing with Vlastimir Lucas and David Koczurek in the Volkswagen Golf TCR. We have M Sim Racing team with João Oliveira and Thiago Matos, 2 new drivers to RRL driving the Audi RS3 LMS. Then we have another known team, Intense Racing, with David Dorre, as I said, 2 times touring car champion, and our admin Simon Fillingham, who is probably doing the driver's briefing as we speak. Then we have Jadator with Colin Barker and Aaron May, also some RRL regulars in the meantime. We have Sergio Racoya and Michele Molteni in Racing team. We have Paradigm Shift with Jack Camaletto and Daniel O'Brien. Pulp Friction Racing, our previous teams champions in the WTCR championship, with Greg Metcalf and Robert Horvat driving the Audi as well. Then we have Janko Glavac and Raymond Papai in RG Racing driving the Hyundai. We have 77 with Jas Forsberg and Ralph Orella in the Link & Co or Volvo TCR. Then we have Team Ballas with Antonio Armiento in the Honda Civic TCR. We have Team Ballas 2 with Lenny de Jong and Stefano Merazzi. So 3 Italian cars driving the Honda Civic TCR. We also have Chabot Albertini and Clive Britton driving for Triple S Racing, who are bringing 3 teams to the table in this championship. We have TSR Team CSR, which is Albertini and Britton. We have Team Fluck, which is Mike Wyatt and Ethan Kearley, and we have Team Sweden with Magnus Smedegaard and Tom Korhonen. So those are the 15 teams that have signed up to this championship. There are some solo drivers as well. We have Nigel Wood, Rafael Caballero, Christopher Strepe, Nuno Miguel Abreu, Steve Carman, Michal Suski and Wesley Brook. So a fully subscribed WTCR championship, 36 spots taken, and also some reserve drivers are still waiting to maybe get into the server right now. And 34 of those 36 drivers are on the server right now. Today's race takes place at the Hungaroring, the Formula 1 circuit, notorious for being difficult to pass. So a good qualifying lap will be very, very important in these next few minutes. And passing during the race will for sure not be easy and will take some cooperation from both parties. But we've seen a lot of good touring car action here at RRL.com, so I'm pretty sure that will all go very well. Of course, the reverse top 10 in race 2 in the longer race will be a big challenge for the top runners to get back to the front. But we already saw in our DTM 92 series in the summer that can provide some great action, and I'm sure the drivers will provide us with that once again. We should do some promo for our other race room series as well. Just coming off the back of our GT3 Masters Championship, which was broadcasted by myself in the last couple of weeks, we are introducing another GT3 Masters Championship, GT3 Masters number 2, also fully subscribed, running on Sundays. So that championship will start on next Sunday. Unfortunately, no commentary for that series, but if I'm not mistaken, that will be broadcasted as well, so you can always try to follow that series as well. But let's get right into the action here. The practice session has 7 minutes left in it. Currently it's Smedegaard for Triple S Racing Sweden on the top of the standings with a 152.9, so the only driver getting into the 152s. Dore, 2-time touring car champion, is in second, and Robert Horvath, our previous champion, is in third position. So everything looking very, very normal. But as I said, Super Pole, everybody will be alone on track. They will have 3 minutes to start a lap and finish it. And if you get a cut, if you make a mistake, then you just need to deal with it, finish the lap, and start wherever you end up. And with this big of a grid, that can become a big problem if you want to get your championship hopes up after this first race. It's 8 races, a lot of points up for grabs. We have 2 races per evening, so if it goes wrong in the first race, you still have the second race to try and make up for that, of course. But everybody will want to get a good start to the season, get that motivation up to practice for the next races. And well, in 2 weeks' time we're already going to the next track, so there's been a lot of anticipation, a lot of practice laps being turned by the drivers. There's some fear that the tires will not last. For example, in the first race, I think, no, in the second race, so that's something that will have to be seen in terms of strategy. Can someone make it without pitting? And well, most importantly, I think we are using the new feature introduced by Sector 3 Studios. We are using full damage, so that's another factor that the drivers need to be aware of while hopping these curbs, as we see Thiago Matos going through that famous chicane. We are running full damage, so everybody needs to be careful, take care of their car, and well, that will be very, very difficult if you have 15 drivers in front, 15 drivers behind, all trying to get your position, fighting tooth and nail, and also being used to not being punished that much for making a mistake or running over a curb too hard. So we'll have to see how full damage plays out as well here in this series. Now we have 4 minutes of practice left. I'm just going to leave you with some of the images of the track, and I'll be right back with you for the qualifying session. Alright guys, so with less than 2 minutes to go until this qualifying session, I would say place your bets for who will take pole position. I really can't say. The top 4, top 5 is looking very good, and well, our best newcomer at the moment is Christophe Verstrepen, countryman of mine. So we have 2 Belgians in the top 5, which is always nice to see. Pole position will go to the person that can give it full beans, keep it on the track, make no mistakes. But I'm sure we will see some of those top runners as David hops over that curb quite aggressively. We'll have to see who will come out on top. Of course, the cars very evenly matched, so the times very, very close. We see the top 27 within 4 seconds, and then as from 28th with Andre Mol, he has not set a representative time, let's say. The rest of the drivers have not set a lap yet, as we get our 35th driver on the grid. I think it's Rafael Carballedo who just joined, if I'm not mistaken. So only one spot left here on the server. Let's see if it still gets filled up, but I think it won't. So we have 10 seconds to go, and well, let's ride on board with Magnus Smedegaard for our qualifying session. I think that's a good way to go. He is the quickest here in practice, and it's not a driver that we have followed a lot so far. So everybody getting ready for the qualifying session now. It's a private session, so no other cars on track. You can focus perfectly on your own lap, but you only get one shot, one opportunity. Practice session not ending for some reason. Everybody getting ready for that qualifying session. Let's hope it will come up. Normally when the timer hits 0, the session is over. That's also the case in the qualifying session itself. So we'll have to see what happens here. Let me quickly check our Discord channel to see if there's any issues. No, now we're moving into the qualifying session. So here we are. I said we would be riding with Magnus Smedegaard. He is at the last part of the track. There he goes, gets on the track. We want to try and fire up that car, heat up those tires as much as he can in that final right-hander and get a good run onto the main straight. And then we will see where he ends up. Everybody on track except for Rafael Carballedo. So Tom Korhonen escaping out of his lap. Let's focus here on Magnus Smedegaard, braking just before the 100-meter board. Turns it in. And goes, takes a nice line there. Now this braking zone here is downhill, so you need to brake in time, and then the car will want to understeer like hell to get onto the power, but you need to get to the left side here to set yourself up for this little back straight. And then here, quite a fast part of the circuit, but you need to get a good line through this turn. Oh, and a bit of a slide there for Magnus, but no harm done. Hugging the inside curb here then. And on the power, now hard braking for the right-left chicane. Very tight and easy to unsettle the car on those big orange curbs there that you could see. But he gets through. 39.8 for the first sector. Gets it turned in, so this looks like quite a tidy lap, maybe not the fastest, but certainly not bad. A 113.7 slides it in onto the power, getting to the last part of the lap. Hard braking zone here at the 100-meter board. Gets it slowed down, and now the two 180-degree turns, as we will see, sometimes coming in on the left-hand side, filling him with a 53.0. That's very good. Ranko Glavac currently on pole. Nuno Miguel Abreu with a 52.9, slightly quicker than Glavac. Lukáš is in third, Arella in fourth. Where will Magnus Smedegaard end up? Sixth position for him, half a second off of pole position. Here we are at the end of the session. Times still coming in, but it looks like Nuno Miguel Abreu off the back of his 6 pole positions in the GT3 Championship starts off his WTCR Championship with pole position here at the Hungaroring. The only driver into the 52s. He's joined on the front row by Janko Glavac, Christopher Strepen. Very well done for him. Third position. Vlastimir Lukas is in fourth as we get ready for the race in about 1 minute, so I'll be right back. Everybody lining up on the grid, and last positions even being still in the turn, coming out of the last turn. So not ideal starting conditions for those drivers, but we'll have to see. So on the right we have Abreu, on the left we have Glavac. Red lights are on. And off we go. It's a good start for Abreu. A bit of smoke there at the back, but everybody keeps it tidy. Abreu moves to the middle of the track, gets his braking done, and oh, spears off the track, gets his braking done too late. He loses first position to Janko Glavac. Let's have a quick look here at the rest of the pack. That all looks quite clean. Let's quickly go to the front again. So we have Christopher Strepe, who passed Janko Glavac, it seems, for first position. So Christopher Strepe, first race here at RRL and currently leading the race. There's not a lot of big gaps. Let's have a look at the middle of the pack. Everybody trying to get settled as two drivers go off the track there. Albertini and Britton. Unfortunately, those are teammates, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, those are teammates. But let's quickly move back to the front. So Nigel Wood at the moment, last spot for him, and quite a bit of a gap for Verstrepen and Glavac to Ralph Arella in third. So this will be very difficult here to get all the action for you. But with 34 drivers on the grid, we can't complain. Janko Glavac proved in the series he participated in to be lightning quick. Won a lot of races already, so he's a known factor to us. Christopher Strepe, not known to us, but he is looking to keep his own at the moment. So lap 1 is done. Verstrepe from Glavac, then Arella, and another newcomer, Sergio Gacuya, also doing very well in the Volkswagen. As gaps are growing just a little bit. And Miguel Abreu currently 9th, trying to move up the order once again. So very well behaved start, except for that incident with Britton and his teammate Albertini. But other than that, everything still quite bunched up. As you can see, the whole field streaming past. The timing screen seems to be a bit off in comparison with what I see on the track. There's not a 2-second gap between Glavac and Verstrepe, that's for sure. So let's quickly go on board here with Miguel Abreu, starting from pole, down into 9th position now, but he still has a lot of cars right in front of him. Of course, as we said, passing will not be easy. It's David Dore. He's hunting down Magnus Smedegaard. Gets a bit loose there in the braking zone, but gets it going once again. So it looks like Tom Korhonen into turn 1, challenging Thiago Matos, but not getting the position. Oh, he goes for the inside line. They touch, I think. Now, what will happen here? Side by side, and Korhonen gets past on Thiago Matos. So a very nice move by Tom, and putting him up into P15. So next to our Drivers' Championship and Teams Championship, we also have a AM Cup, which includes drivers that have no career podiums yet at RRLeagues. That means also Christopher Strepe, Sergio Racuya. They are both in there, and they are in first and second of their respective class, but they are also, of course, participating in the main Drivers' Championship. So the gap at the front, still very, very small. Janko Glavac just hanging with Christopher Strepe. So in terms of lap time, that's exactly the same for the last lap. The gap to Ralph Arella is, however, growing steadily. So everybody settling into their rhythm now. We have 17 minutes of racing to go, and it's will be touch and go depending on the pace, whether we will do 12 or maybe 13 laps, if I understood correctly. So that's also something to watch out for. Here's the battle pack, let's say 4th position, or actually 3rd position. So we have Arella here at the forefront, Racuya, Lucas, Horvat, Smedegaard, Dore, Abreu, Fillingham, all very, very closely matching each other. If you have any questions about our racing league or any of the drivers, you want me to focus on someone, then just let us know. Just trying to focus on the most action, as there seems to have been an incident here at the back of the grid, but that all seems to be sorted. Michele Molteni, oh, he's off the track. Looking at the car, how it behaves, looks like he has a puncture. Not looking great, but well, currently in last position. Now let's have a look at that top 10, will we? Simon Fillingham, currently in 10th position. That would give him pole position for the next round. Now his issue is there's quite a bit of a gap in front, so chances that he will pick up some spots exists, of course, but it's quite tough if the guys in front don't make any mistakes. And he has Antonio Armiento, another newcomer, right behind him in the Honda Civic. So Simon Fillingham will try to keep on to that 10th place with all his worth to get on pole for the next race. Here's Lenny de Jong battling it out with Greg Metcalf. Yes, it is. Lenny also a newcomer in the Team Ballas racing team. And in the latter half, so behind Korhonen and Forsberg in the... Oh, as we have someone going out, and Thiago Matos having a great battle with Aaron May, I think. Yes, it is. He gets past. So RG there for Thiago Matos. Was just going to focus on him, and I was right on time, but a bit of an incident there. I think Colin Barker was involved. He's dropping down the order in any case. So Thiago Matos making it up to P17 now in the Audi. He's followed by Aaron May and David Koczurek. David from PH Racing. Oh, as Aaron May goes up his inside. Let's see if we can have a look at this battle from Kotchurek's perspective. And Matos gets through once again. So this is great action here at the bottom half of the top 20. Koczurek having a look at the inside of May. We need to get the braking done correctly for turn 1. Matos gets turned in. Koczurek gets past Aaron May. So Aaron losing 2 positions in half a lap, unfortunately. But it's not over yet. Tries to go around the outside. Almost gets away with it. And Wesley Brook in the Alpha, coming right up onto them. So a good battle there for Thiago Matos. Let's have a quick look here at the front again. So we still have our leading pair, Christopher Strepe in the Cupra, followed by Janko in the Hyundai, and then the gap to Ralph Arella, as you can see visually. It's about 5 seconds in this case, and he seems to be, well, cork in the bottle is a bad way to say it, but he has a whole gaggle of cars behind him. Rakuja, Lukas, Horvat, Smedegaard, Tore, Abreu, Fillingham. Those are all big names in the RRL scene. All known names except for Rakuja. So he has his work cut out for him to keep that podium spot. Oh, as we might see, passing opportunity here for Janko Glavac around the outside into turn 1. That will be difficult. Nice respect shown between these two, but Verstappen stays in front. But I feel Janko has a bit more pace in him. Let's see, best lap, yeah, 53.0 for Glavac. 53.4 for Verstappen. So Glavac, he has a bit of pace in hand, and he has 10 minutes of time to convert it into a possible win. Of course, we are now rooting for the underdog newcomer Christopher Strepe, but his rearview mirror is full of the Hyundai of Glavac, as Rakuja, sorry we missed that, maybe you saw it in the background, but Rakuja got past Ralph Arella. So also he moving up, new challengers coming to the forefront at RRLeagues.com. Always nice to see. And Fillingham, he got passed by Antonio Armiento for 10th spot. So now he's Antonio is on pole position for race 2. What can he do? Can he keep this position, or will Fillingham still try to take it away from him? This gaggle of cars here is the one we need to focus on. That's better. So look how close this is. It's Rakuja in 3rd spot, so this is a fight for the podium. With Arella behind, Lukas, Horvat, Smedegaard, Tore, Abreu. They're all benefiting from his slipstream. Rakuja going to the far inside. I think he brakes too late. He will miss the apex. Yes, he will. He loses the position to Arella. Will he lose the position to Lukas? He is side by side in any case. No, Lukas slots back in behind, but Arella retakes 1st position. very sorry for all the other drivers that are probably having a great fun as well. As you can see, a bit of groups of cars here in all down to 34th position. Gaps are not extremely big. Everybody has someone to fight with. But we need to focus on this top 10 here. And Abreu here is at the end of this group. So from pole position, a small mistake at the opening turn. He's now in 9th, and he has not been able to make a pass. The gap between Glavac and Verstrepen staying under 1 second. Here's Abreu's perspective. He wants to get past that Audi one by one, but getting past Davidore is easier said than done. That is for sure. Just going to go through the running order. Give everybody some screen time, and let's hope there's no big drama there, so we can catch the end of this race fully live. So we have Verstrepen leading from Glavac, then we have Arella leading a pack with Rakoya, Lukas, Horvat, Smedegaard, Dore, Abreu, and then we have a bit of a gap to Antonio Armiento. He's followed by Simon Fillingham. That gap has grown just a little bit, so Armiento seems well set to get a first pole position. Then we have Rick Binnersley, followed by Greg Metcalf, Tom Korhonen. So well in 14th position, Lenny de Jong, newcomer as well, 15th, followed by Jas Forsberg, one of our staff members. And we have David Kochurek defending from Aaron May and Thiago Matos, so they are still in a battle. Very nice fights for those guys. Aaron May, as I said, Thiago Matos, and then Wesley Brook rounding up the top 20. Jack Camaletto in 21st, Raymond Papai in 22nd, Jelle Ooms, Clive Britton, Stefano Merazzi in 25th position. As you can see, as close as ever between Ooms, Britton and Merazzi. Very, very nice battles there as well, so you'll have to rewatch some of the driver streams if you want to catch that action. Andre Mol, Joao Oliveira, Szabolcs Albertini, Nigel Wood, Michal Suski, Michele Malteni, then Colin Barker, Peter Hindle and Rafael Carballedo in last position at the moment. But everybody still running, and as you can see, everybody's still in with a fighting chance of gaining or losing positions. So no retirements so far from this race, which is what we want to see, and which is also what we try to encourage with our Ironman Championship, which is our 4th championship that these drivers are fighting for. As we seem to have lost... Oh, yeah, indeed, we have Arella coming in, and some other drivers as well coming in, so they feel they need to pit for tires. The Volvos coming into the pits for tires. I think it's Smedegaard and Arella. They are coming in for a tire switch. Will we see the other drivers also doing that? That will be yeah, a big question. 5 minutes to go, that's 3 to 4 laps, but well, if the rest don't, then Ralph Arella and Smedegaard have lost a lot of points today, so they must be gambling on all the other drivers still needing to pit here at the end of this lap or the next lap. Anyway, what was I saying? So this puts Fillingham, Armiento, etc. all well within the top 10, and Rick Binnersley is now the 10th place guy who will end up on pole position for race 2. And Arella and Smedegaard rejoined the track all the way in last position, so that's how close it is. They pit for tires and they end up all the way in last position, both of them. And, they were running, Arella was running a podium spot, so that's a hard decision to make, I feel. But let's see how this plays out. It's also something to keep in mind for the second race here. So Rakuya Oh, Verstrepen is out. Verstrepen is on the gravel in the last turn. Not sure what happened there. He's not moving either. So drama for Verstrepen. Does look like he was tapped, I guess, because you don't end up there on your own free will. Oh, he wants to get into the pits, so needs to wait till everybody gets in. But anyway, Glavac is now in first, and Lukáš has just got up the inside of Rakuja and has taken second spot away from him. So 3 minutes to go and it's all kicking off. Vlastimil Lukáš now loses the position back to Rakuja in the number 25. Oh, Lukáš now going for the inside. Oh, there's a bit of a tap. Someone going wide. I think it's Abreu. Yeah, Abreu going wide. He was in fourth. Loses the position now to Armiento. Also in the Honda. So everybody's starting to make mistakes, and well, there can be no other reason than tires. So yeah. Here's Verstrepen. He comes back on the track together with Smedegaard and Arella. So he has lost a bit of time, but he's not out of the game yet if the other guys still need to pit. Anyway, what are we looking at in terms of last lap times? 56s instead of 53s, which is slower, but not extremely slow. So Janko Glavac at the moment looking very, very good for another win, but he needs to keep his tires together for the next 2 laps, I think. Yeah. Well, this might be the last lap. If he has enough of a gap, he could end the race here, because he's doing 156s and he crossed the line with about 155 to go. Anyway, we have our first retirement of the race, or well, not retirement. Jack Camaletto, he's out of the track. Meantime, Tom Korhonen is now in 10th spot, so everything mixed up completely. Armiento is now in 5th, Fillingham is in 6th, Horvat is in 7th. So keeping out of trouble is the most important thing you can do here. Smedegaard makes it up to 29th position, but I fear they will lose out. So we have Abreu also in the pits. Is that a scheduled tire stop? He gets going again, so that looks like it. He will come out behind Arella, etc. So let's have a quick look. We have 40 seconds to go. What will Glavac do? Will he try to end the race here? I think he will, if he can, and he has quite a bit of a gap, 10 seconds, so he can afford to let off the gas a little bit, as there's still some heavy fighting going on here in the background. Dore up the inside of Lukáš, but he's not getting through. Glavac coming through the last turn with 5 seconds to go, so this will be the last lap of the race, and Janko Glavac will win the first round of the WTCR Championship, but hanging on by a thread. Sergio Rakuja in his opening round will take second spot, Vlastimil Lukáš in third, David Dore in fourth, Antonio Armiento in fifth, Fillingham in sixth, Horvat in seventh, Binnersley in eighth, Metcalf in ninth, Korhonen in 10th position, so he will be on pole for race 2. Jas Forsberg, Lenny de Jong, David Kotsurek, Aaron May, Thiago Matos, he will finish in 15th spot, Wesley Brook, Raymond Papai, and everybody's stopping here on the grid. Not sure why that is happening. Anyway, Clive Britton, Jelle Ooms, Merazzi, Mol Albertini, Nigel Wood, Janko Glavac, he's already back in his pit spot. We'll get the final results very, very soon. So 2 flats for Jack Camaletto, so he pushed a bit too hard, and that's what you get. So not easy at all. But that was only race 1, ladies and gentlemen. We have a 50-minute race still to come, and it's going to be quite epic, I feel. A bit more time for the drivers to settle in and then convert their pace into a good position. Everybody now on their cooling down lap, but well, quite a couple of drivers that were in the top 10 getting caught out by their tires. So that's a lesson learned, I think, for race 2 and the next rounds. You really want to avoid that. Or you need to force the other drivers to get a bit more tire wear and also need to pit. But I think the main strategy for this shorter race will be to not have a pit stop. Of course, in the second race, it's also crucial. It's a bit longer than double what we had here in the first race. So can they make the tires last? Will there be any flats at the front or at the back? Well, probably at the front. The back tires are not doing that much in these cars. Anyway, everybody on their cooling down lap now. Let's have a quick look at the Discord. See what the guys are saying. A bit of suspension damage for David Dore, I'm seeing. Good race for Nuno Abreu. So bad start, but he ended up in a good position. And there's now indeed a timer at the end of the race, so we need to wait a couple of minutes for the session to advance to race 2. Everybody coming into the pits now, but everybody well warmed up now for race 2, that's for sure. I'll take a short break and I'll be right back with you for the start of race 2, 50-minute feature race with our 34 drivers on the server. See you in a bit. So here are the final standings. Janko Glavac fastest lap and race winner. Rakuya in second, Lukas third, Dore in fourth, and there you can see the whole spread of the field. The top 25 within 50 seconds of each other. So considering all the battling, that's not bad at all. And we will jump straight into the second race now in about 50 seconds time with Tom Korhonen in the Link & Co or Volvo on the pole position. Let's see if he can get his braking right compared to Nuno Miguel Abreu and keep his pole position steady throughout the first lap. Once again, people starting in the final turn, which is not ideal. With 5 seconds still to go. Everybody is on the grid, the lights are on. And it looks like Janko Glavac is on pole. Well, no reverse grid then. Janko Glavac gets away very, very well. He's followed by Rakuya and Lukas. And, well, he's pulled away. Looks like it's pretty good at the back. Oh, there's an Audi storming through the field a bit. But one driver's in the barriers on his own, but everybody gets through turn 1 cleanly, it seems. So bit of argy-bargy here between Albertini and Molteni, but that's to be expected in this big of a field on this track. So everybody's streaming up the hill for this fast left-handing bend for this 50-minute race. So unfortunately, no reverse grid for the top 10. Very weird, but drivers will have to deal with it, and we'll look at the consequences after the race. Now in this race, strategy will come into play, so it's not all about pure pace, and I think Glavac knows that. Rakuya is the one wants to prove a point. Second spot in his first race. Oh, as we have Vlastimir Lucas dropping out, spinning out here in the final sector, and who's waiting for him? It's David Dore. So they must have had a small incident, but they're losing all heaps of time. Dore waiting for Lucas to rejoin in front, and they're all the way back in 29th and 31st now. So, well, that will be a fun 48 minutes for them, trying to carve through the field. Oh, as we have Glavac having to go very, very defensive against Rakuya. Looking back from our race leader, Janko Glavac. Rakuya very aggressive on the brakes. He gets his Volkswagen on the inside, but that's the outside for the next turn. Can he challenge Glavac here through the left-hand kink that is coming up? Oh, that must be a bit of a cut for Sergio. So we have Rakuya in second, Armiento in third, two newcomers, again doing very, very well. And we have our current champion, Robert Horvat, right behind in the Audi. Right behind Armiento, that is. So this battle here for second spot, first spot, very entertaining. Hyundai, Volkswagen, Honda, Audi in the top 4. So a nice spread of cars. All the cars very evenly matched, that's for sure. So at the end of lap 2, this is the situation. It's Glavac from Rakuya, Armiento Horvat filling him in 5th. So good start for him. Greg Metcalf, Tom Korhonen, David Kotschurek, Jas Forsberg, Thiago Matos, he's in 10th spot here now. So yeah, moved up from 17th, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Aaron May as well, he's in 11th. And it's Lenny de Jong, Wesley Brook. You can see everybody very, very close. Raymond Papai, João Oliveira, Rick Binnersley, Andre Mol, Michele Molteni, Nuno Miguel Abreu. Down in 19th, our pole sitter, Albertini, Arella, Jelle Ooms, Smedegaard, Camaletto, Christopher Streper. So all of those pitters also having to start from quite a way back in the second race. That's not ideal for their points haul for the Drivers and Teams Championships, that's for sure. Vlastimir Lucas, he's in 26th. Now we have Clive Britton, Colin Barker, David Dore in 29th, Carballedo in 30th, Nigel Wood, Peter Hindle, and Michal Suski is our first retiree of the evening. Back to the front. So that's a nice group of cars there at the front of the field. But further down as well, as you can see, everybody streaming past the start-finish straight. Everybody very, very close. No really big gaps. It's only behind David Dore. He's trying to get past Colin Barker on the inside. Will he do it? Seems like he does. Colin leaves some space. And David goes through. So it's only behind Colin Barker that there's a bit of a gap to Nigel Wood Carballedo and then Peter Hindle at the moment. Oh, as we have, sorry you missed that, Glavac is in 4th now, and our race leader is Antonio Armiento. Rakuya is in 6th, so our race leader must have had an incident with Rakuya, but not dropping down extremely far. So still in with a fighting chance. So Antonio Armiento leading his, let's say, 2nd outing here at RRL, considering his lap just a couple of minutes, his race just a couple of minutes ago. Reigning champion Robert Horvat, he's right there in 2nd in the Audi, so not bad for him. So far, not a bad evening. Thiago Matos still in that top 10, hanging on and battling it out with Aaron May. So they're already developing a bit of a relationship there on the track together. Kev in the Audi trying to get past Rakuya, who's on his inside. There he is. Oh, bit of a love tap there. Rakuya keeps 5th position. And further down here, see everybody going through. Aaron May and Thiago Matos with Lenny de Jong behind them, together with Wesley Brook and all the rest of the guys. So it's too close to tell. Everything very, very close, but the timing on my screen's not ideal. Not showing up as it should be, but all the gaps more or less within 1 second of the car in front or the car behind. And well, still 40 minutes to go, at least 1 pit stop for everyone. That's something that we could establish from that first race. Smedegaard and Arella did not pit for the fun of it. They did because they had to. So Horvat just showing his nose, just showing he's there and filling him, riding with them no problem. And I think yeah, Rakuya, he is the fastest driver of that bunch, with a fastest lap of a 54.1. So the pace quite a bit slower than in the first race, where we had been doing 53s. So everybody taking it a bit more easily. Just to maybe eke out a bit more performance from those tires at the end of the stint and get through the race with 1 stop. That's probably the reason. Arella and Smedegaard moving up to 21st and 22nd already. Verstrepe in 24th. So they are moving up the grid, but probably not as fast as they would have liked. And look at this. This is amazing racing for everybody, I think. Very, very close. But as I said, not a lot of passing opportunities except for turn 1. Everybody going as wide as they possibly can to gain some speed down this back straight. This is also a passing opportunity, but you need to get some overlap, or else you'll be summoned by the stewards after the race. Defending is, well, should not say easy, but there are more difficult tracks to defend on, as Molteni and Abreu are extremely close, and oh, they touch. They both go off the track. It's Abreu dropping down the order now. Very unfortunate, it's just a bit too close for comfort there. Abreu not having the evening that he would have wanted or that he expected after that pole position. But well, there's more than time enough to bounce back. Janko Glavac, meanwhile, recovered from his incident with Rakuya, who is right behind, and has now set his sights on Simon Fillingham. So I think the drivers need to think about their pit stop strategy, that's for sure, because they, as I said, it's not easy to pass on track, so if you can do it in the pits, then that's your best bet of gaining track position. Now, normally you would do that by pitting early and undercutting some of your competitors, but you need to make sure that you make it to the end. You don't need to pit again, because you lose a lot of time, as we saw with Smedegaard, Arella and some others. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out, that's for sure. Yellow Ohms. Oh! Don't know who that is. I think... Oh, that's a big incident. Quite a bit of drivers involved there. Molteni, Lukáš is going again. But, well, in the braking zone there, just a bit too close for comfort for all the guys. As we have a driver coming into the pits. You see everybody bumper to bumper, door handle to door handle. As Glavac has taken third spot from Fillingham. So Glavac putting the pressure on. He's now set his sights on Robert Horvat. If he can keep Fillingham at bay. So we have a bit of a split of top 5. Armiento, Horvat, Glavac, Fillingham and Rakuya. That's our top 5. And then we have a bit of a gap to Greg Metcalf and Tom Korhonen behind. So the field is starting to spread out. We have Ohms in the pits, we have Molteni in the pits, so they feel they need to get some repairs. And of course, yeah, all of this touching with the full damage model will not be perfect for the cars, as Smedegaard now, they were in 20th and 21st earlier, Smedegaard already up into P16 now, so staying out of trouble and moving up the grid. Thiago Matos still in 10th spot, so a top 10 finish at the moment, looking quite well for him. As we have Binnersley and Koczurek. Oh, Koczurek putting his nose there on the inside, but Binnersley keeping the car on track. Very well done. And Koczurek rejoining right behind. Oh, as we see Horvat having a move on the inside of Armiento, and he takes first spot from Armiento. He saw Glavac in his rearview mirror and he knew he had to take action right away. So Good traction out of the last turn. Good braking on the inside, and pass done. Robert Horvat, our reigning champion, at the front of this sim racing motor race. Now what can Glavac do? Can Glavac get past Armiento quickly and hunt down Robert Horvat? Fillingham, after being passed by Glavac, not dropping back, staying right there with him. So there's for sure good pace in the Audi, also shown by Horvat, who is in front. It's all a question of staying out of trouble in these races, being just aggressive enough, but not too aggressive, because you will end up in incidents, and with the grid so closely packed, you will lose heaps of positions if you get into... Oh, as Armiento overshoots his braking marker and drops down to 5th position. Yeah, 5th position. Yeah, occupies the gap between the top 5 and Greg Metcalf now. Looks like his car is a bit bent. It's not looking well. He dives into the pits. So now Glavac is behind Robert Horvat. We'll have to see how that plays out. But everybody getting some damage, which is not ideal. As you can see, he's so close here, and then a bit of touching is very, very easily done. You need to keep a good overview, as the two Belgians, Door and Verstrepen, in 20th and 21st in the Belgian colours, even battling it out on Main Straight. And Fillingham currently in 3rd, as Abreu tries to go around the outside of Verstrepen, but he's having none of it. Armiento from the jacks and back up and running. Magnus Smedegaard trying to get past Andre Mol. He's on the inside for the next left-hander, so he has that spot taken up into P13. So Smedegaard moving up the grid very, very rapidly. Very nice to see. And here we have Rakuya threatening Simon Fillingham for P3 for that podium spot, as Horvat and Glavac just ever so slightly eke away and make a bit of a gap. So Armiento came into the pits, and he's now down into 27th position. He was our race leader for a while, now down into 27th, but nothing is lost as the gaps start growing just a little bit. Downhill braking zone for turn 1 is very, very tricky, and it's so wide open. It's the most difficult spot to defend here on this track, that's for sure. Korhonen into the pits after 20 minutes in this race, so will he make it a 2-stopper? Does look like it, but can he make it work? We'll have to see. Look at this gaggle of cars just outside of the top 10. These guys will want to have 10 eyes instead of 2 to keep track of everything that is happening. Who's behind, who's in front. Very nice battles indeed, and very well behaved, I must say. These cars invite you to really push, and then it can get dangerous very, very quickly. I've seen a couple of incidents, but nothing out of the ordinary. That's for sure. Fillingham keeping Rakuya at bay, and Horvat as well keeping Glavac at bay, but well, he's on his rear bumper, so anything can happen. When will these guys dive into the pits? If they can make it until the 25-minute mark, then well, then they are golden, then they can make it to the end normally, but that will not be so easy. They still need 2 laps, so this lap and the next lap they need to complete before they can make a pit stop for tires, as Rakuya comes in from P4 for tires, and that's just a little bit early. I don't think he can do a 28-minute stint on a set of tires. We'll have to see. So Rakuya just coming out in front of Armiento here. So a good stop for Rakuya. We'll have to see, can Horvat and Glavac keep it on the track for one more lap. Because when the tires say boom, then it's too late. So you need to keep it under control. Still doing a 54.9 for Horvat, whereas we saw 56s at the end of the first race. So conditions seem to be a bit different now on the track. As Magnus Smedegaard has made it into the top 10, and Thiago Matos, Aaron May, is now in front of Thiago Matos. So that was the other way around a bit earlier. That battle is now for P6, as Thiago Matos loses another position to Rick Binnersley, who goes around the outside, it seems. Yeah. And Horvat and Glavac keep going. Everybody staying out. Very, very brave. And well, yeah, if they can stay out for this lap, then a one-stopper should be possible. Jas Forsberg pitting, he was in P5 if I'm not mistaken. So everybody will get mixed up now, that's for sure. Christopher Strepen as well in the pits. That was, I think, Arella needing to reverse into his pit spot. That's not ideal. He loses quite a bit of time by overshooting in that spot. And Rick Binnersley really putting the pressure on Thiago Matos, as we are looking from Smedegaard's perspective. Again on the inside, Binnersley through the chicane, very well behaved, and Binnersley gets through. So Binnersley takes 7th spot from Matos at the moment. So here are the race leader Raymond Papai, drive through for speeding in the pit lane. That's another factor to keep in mind. So the guys will dive into the pits. No, they're still staying out. That's surprising. Fillingham does the sensible thing, comes into the pits exactly halfway through the race. Of course, if Glavac and Horvat could be pushing each other just a bit too hard. Look at that gap that they have behind now. Everybody getting into the pits already. Metcalf also in the pits. Fillingham also in the pits. So we'll have to see where everybody ends up after this whole pit cycle goes through. I'm expecting Horvat and Glavac then to pit at the end of this lap, but there are no certainties as it gets extremely busy in the pits, and we're lucky guys, cars can be driven through in the pit lane, because 20 drivers in the pits at once, that's a recipe for disaster. Rick Binnersley currently in P3, Nuno Miguel Abreu currently in P4, but that's worth nothing, unfortunately. Abreu and Lucas, they are quite far down the order, that is for sure. We'll have to see where Horvat and Glavac end up. Last lap time 55.4, that's not bad for Horvat. Let's see if we can spot any weaknesses on the tires here. They are already reaching the end of the lap here, so they will make it into the pits without any big problems. Now we'll have to see Rakoya. He pitted early. Will he get track position? Does he get the undercut? What kind of lap times was he doing? 54.1. No, sorry, invalid lap time on the last one, so can't really say. But both leaders coming into the pits right now. So let's keep a quick eye on these guys. Rick Binnersley also only pitting just now. So Nuno Miguel Abreu, yeah, he pitted already after a couple of laps, so he's not to be taken into account. Horvat and Abreu and Glavac, sorry, get going. Sergio Rakoya, what does he see? He sees Horvat right in front, and Glavac ends up right behind Rakoya. Fillingham is right there with him, I think. No, he's a bit further behind, but Rakoya is putting himself in between Horvat and Glavac. Nuno Miguel Abreu is currently in first spot, but I'm pretty sure he still will need to pit. So that's our new running order then in practical terms. Horvat, Rakoya, Glavac. Fillingham in 4th position. Tom Korhonen, not sure where he was before the pit stops, but ending up in P6 or P5 actually right now, so that's great. And Armiento not too far behind either in the Honda, so everybody still on their toes and everything still to play for. Rafael Carballedo, unfortunately another retirement from this race, together with Michal Suski, and we have 3 cars dropping out of the server as Abreu puts it into the wall and gets passed by Horvat. By Rakoya, will he get in the way of Glavac? He has no front splitter, so he needs to be careful. The top 3 goes through, and Fillingham is not affected, I guess. Yeah, oh, trying to get out of the way. Abreu, but he couldn't steer it into the pits, unfortunately. And now quite a healthy gap there for Horvat, as you can see. Locking up the tires, so a flat spot for him. So it's looking quite good for Horvat if he can keep it together without any big mistakes. He is the guy to beat here for the race win. But Rakoya and Glavac have already proven to be very, very quick. Their fastest lap is also 2/10 quicker than Robert Horvat's, so we'll have to see how that plays out. Fillingham, he is in 4th position, but he's certainly not very far back from Janko Glavac. The timer says 28 seconds, but that is not the case. It's more like 6 seconds as it's showing now. Yeah, indeed. So Abreu he has retired from the race as well, so no repairs for him, unfortunately. Retirement number 3 from the guys that are still on the server, of course. I think we have lost Christopher Strepen, not sure to what, but he is not on the server anymore. But this one is one to watch. Rakuya versus Glavac. Can Rakuya keep Glavac behind? That's the question. And Robert Horvat replying with a 53.2, the absolute fastest lap of the race set by anyone. So he is on fire on his own home track, so he knows the Hungaroring inside and out. Has been there in real life many times, and well, always nice to win on home soil, especially if it's the opening round of the championship. Gets your motivation up to practice and practice more. Here's Glavac. Can he get through? Just a slight bit of overlap, but there's no way through this kink here. Up the inside for this long right-hander, maybe? No. Now he's on the inside for the next chicane. That's an option. That's an option. Through the chicane, bit of bumping and grinding, but Rakuya loses the position. But tries to get it back and gets it back. Some real touring car racing there. Bit of touching, but nothing major. And Janko Glavac is now in second spot. Can he hunt down Robert Horvat? Well, what is the gap? Let's have a quick look. It's about 5 seconds, I would say. And so looking at the AM Cup, as I said, newcomers to RRL are entered in the AM Cup. That's Rakuya, of course, leading that as a newcomer, followed by Armiento. And I'm guessing Andre Mol is in there as well. Let me quickly check. As this is a nice gaggle of cars as well. With Andre Mol, Albertini, Barker, Britton at the front. Oh, bit of a slide there, and a lot of guys locking up. That's not what those tires want to have if they need to last so long. And Aaron May doing very well in 9th. Where is his competitor? Thiago Motas. Can't see him anymore on the server, so he must have dropped out. We'll quickly check our yeah, so Thiago Motas dropped out. Christopher Strepe as well, and he had a puncture in the first race, so it's always nice to know, to get some inside information. But well, it's this race that we need to focus on. David Torre battling it out with Andre Mol, and he gets out in front. So Arella and Smedegaard, they are now in 15th and 18th, so moving up the grid, but well, they still have some work cut out for them, that's for sure. Can we maybe see a track map, see where everybody is? Yes, we can. So Horvat with a healthy gap over Glavac and Rakuya, and Fillingham just slightly trailing behind. And then we have a bit of a pack with Armiento, Korhonen and Metcalf, as Metcalf is challenging the blue Volvo into turn 2. too long, we will see some traffic coming into play. Depending on the pace of the leaders and the lap traffic, that will also be a factor, of course. The last lap 4/10 quicker for Janko Glavac, so he has some pace advantage at the moment, it seems. Can he get close to Robert Horvat? The gap is not small, so he needs something special, but we've seen already in the past that he can deliver something special if it's needed. He still has Horvat in his sights, but the gap is quite big and we only have 12 minutes of racing still to go. And Colin Barker together with David Dore and Andre Moll as well. Antonio Armiento, what's happening to him? He's in the pits for tires once again. Is that a scheduled stop? Not sure, but it could be, as Michele Molteni as well is in the pits. Armiento gets it going again, so he might pick up some spaces, some spots at the end. But I'm pretty sure that Horvat and Glavac will be able to make it to the end of the race on their tires. Horvat doesn't even, well, he's not fighting, he is pushing, but he's not fighting, and that takes a lot out of your tires as well. So quite confident that our top 4 at least will be able to make it to the end. But Sergio Racoya still set for a podium spot here at his first event at RRLeagues.com. Tom Korhonen for the TSR Sweden team doing very well. Magnus Smedegaard, he's up into P14, so not that bad either. And Greg Metcalf, we haven't seen a lot of him on the stream yet, but he's in P6. So once again scoring some valuable points for his Pulp Friction team. He's in that team together with his the race leader Robert Horvat. So the current champion and the current team's champions doing very, very well. And Metcalf challenging Korhonen into turn 1, but no opportunity yet. The car behind is a lapped car, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that must be Ooms or Hindel. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, it's Jelle Ooms who got lapped. So will we see some other drivers pitting still? I'm pretty sure we will. This is a great battle for the last spot in the top 5. It looks like Jelle Ooms can easily stay with these two, so that there you see what the pace advantage or the pace difference is between our drivers. It's very, very small, but we cater to well, the fastest drivers are here as well, but we have a level for everyone here at RRL. Of course, with 36 drivers on the grid, or 34 today, there's always someone to battle with. You're never alone. So things at the front look to have settled down. Oh, as Greg Metcalf brakes very, very late, and he keeps it tidy. He gets it around the outside. Now he's on the inside for the next left-hander. Can he get his braking done right and pass Tom Korhonen? He is in front, brakes a bit too late. Oh, that's an incident for both. I think Greg will wait for Tom to rejoin, but he's facing the wrong way. Gets it turned around, gets out of the way, and Greg Metcalf keeps going. I feel he just overshot his braking point there and went a bit wide. Couldn't hook up the apex, but we'll let the stewards decide after the race if the incident gets submitted, of course. So Jas Forsberg is now the best of the Lynk & Co cars, the blue Volvo cars, I'd like to call them, in 6th spot. And as I was just saying, it was settling down at the front, but last lap for Robert Horvat, a 57.0. He lost 3 whole seconds to Janko Glavac there on the last lap. Not sure what happened, but let's have a look at the last lap once again once they cross the finish line. 54.0, an invalid lap time for Janko Glavac. So Janko now once again within a reasonable distance, and 7 minutes of racing still to go. Rakuya and Fillingham, they are settled into their spots as well. Can Fillingham still challenge for the podium? We'll have to see. Greg Metcalf now, he's in 5th after that pass on Tom Korhonen. Jas Forsberg, he is in 6th. Aaron May up into 7th position, so doing very well here at the Hungaroring. Clive Britton as well, doing a nice job in P8. Tom Korhonen dropped back to P9, and he is getting passed by Szabolcs Albertini. At least looks like it. Can he get back on him? Not for the moment. Let's see. Can he dive up the inside? No, he doesn't. And David Torre is right there with these guys. So we're still set for some good action. Colin Barker and Andre Mol battling it out. Colin Barker just getting past Andre now. And Magnus Smedegaard is right behind them. Then we have Lenny de Jong, João Oliveira, Ralph Arella and Vlastimir Lucas. So that's a nice battle pack as well. Antonio Armiento, he's in 19th. So he did a 2-stop strategy. Let's see if he can move up the grid in these dying stages of the race still. Rick Binnersley, he's in 20th. Nigel Wood still going as well in 21st. Wesley Brook in the only Alpha on the grid, it seems. He's in 22nd. Jack Camaletto 23rd. Kochurek 24th. Yellow Ohms in 25th. Molteni in 26th, and Peter Hindle in 27th. And the last of the running cars, Fillingham. Oh, Rakuya coming into pits. Yeah, I think he lost a tire. Fillingham taking P3 in that way. So Rakuya needing to come into the pits. Let's see where he ends up in relation to Antonio Armiento, will we? That's a good one to watch. He will come out right in that battle between Arella, Lucas, Armiento. Those are all normally top 10 drivers, I would say. So Rakuya gets going again. That was quite a quick stop. So he will come out quite a bit ahead of Armiento, or not. Now he has a whole pack of cars that he will need to let pass. Arella. Who is that behind? It's João Oliveira. so Rakuya ends up in 15th spot now. He will probably still pick some spots up. So let's have a quick look. Robert Horvat, he's almost at the end of his lap now. We have a 1:55 kind of lap time, 1:54. So that means that we are already within the window, and we will need 2 more laps to finish this race. So after this lap here, we have 2 more laps of racing, and the gap to Janko Glavac is indeed about 1 to 2 seconds, I would say, maybe 3. And Fillingham, he's just hanging back, but he is in 3rd spot and taking away a podium if he keeps it together and if his tires hold. So that's always nice to see. Greg Metcalf, he's also lonely in P4 at the moment. With this battle back here, it's all heating up. Oliveira getting past on Vlastimir Lucas, or repasses him, looks like it, pushing him a bit wide, and then behind Armiento and Arella fighting it out. Oh. Here's Arella looking at Armiento, Lucas and Oliveira. Oh, as Lucas goes up the inside, and I think... no, sorry, that was Armiento, so he stays in front. Colin Barker in the pits, yes he is. So this is a nice group of cars for the bottom half of the top 20. And the top 10 seems more or less settled at the moment. Gap at the front. Drive through for Colin Barker, unfortunately for him. Having to come into the pits again and taking a penalty while at it. Smedegaard losing position to Lenny de Jong just in front. That's part of this whole pack with Arella and Lucas Oliveira. So with 1 minute to go, I think our leader has already started the final lap of the race. Yes, he did. Janko Glavac is close, but not close enough unless some drama unfolds. And, David Torre is our last driver in the top 10, and he's hounding Tom Korhonen in front. 27 drivers still driving around the track here, racing for round 1 of the RRLeagues WTCR Championship. But these guys here are not giving up, so everybody, even if they pitted quite early, still seems like they will make it to the end of the race, unless all their tires will start to fail here now. That was a slow car there on the right at least. Who is that? Not sure. It's David Torre. What is he struggling with? Is it tires? Is it fuel? He is very slow. Looks like it's tires. So be prepared for some drama here in the last lap, I think. So we can catch it as well. Here's Albertini getting past Aaron May. Aaron May is slow. He is slow. So Albertini taking P7. Where's Korhonen? He's back, but not too far. Aaron May trying to nurse his car across the finish line, but look, he just can't get it turned in. That's not a good sign, as we have Korhonen and Rakuya right behind him. Meanwhile, the leaders... Sorry, you missed that. Horvat Robert Horvat taking the race win here at the Hungaroring in his home race. Glavac in second. Let's have a quick look how this ends up here. Rakoya gets past. Aaron May. Yeah. Oh, Aaron May. Will he finish in the top 10? Can he get it going again? Armiento is in the last corner as well. Armiento will get past. Who else will get past? Smedegaard. That's a bit touch and go. Not sure what that was, but let's go back to our race winner, Robert Horvat. Many congratulations to him. Janko Glavac takes second spot here in the feature race at the Hungaroring, filling him with a podium in the opening round here. Then it's Greg Metcalf, Chas Forsberg taking P5. He will be pleased with that, I think. Clive Britton in 6th, Albertini in 7th, also very good result for him. Rakuya in 8th, Korhonen in 9th, Armiento in 10th. Aaron May right behind, and everybody now on the cool down lap and the race ending timer. So we'll have a look at the final results of the race when they come on the screen. But in any case, I already want to invite you to join us in 2 weeks' time. In 2 weeks' time, we'll go to Slovakia, to the Slovakia ring for another 2-race format. So 22nd of January, stay tuned. Same time, same place here at the RRLeagues YouTube channel to see, hopefully, once again, close to 36 drivers battling it out for this extremely competitive championship. I hope you enjoyed the races of today. We'll need to figure out why the second race didn't have a reverse grid, but I think we got more than enough action even without that, so we'll have to see. Here are the final results. Horvat taking the fastest lap as well as the win. Glavac right behind him, only 1 second almost, and then 17 seconds back is third place Simon Fillingham. And there's the whole results sheet. In terms of AMP Cup, it's Rakuya from Armiento from De Jong is our top 3 there. We'll have a look at the standings in the championships before the next race during the stream. Those will come up on the screen and we can discuss them. So those are the final standings. I would say let's see each other in 2 weeks. If you want to join us for some racing, then head on over to rrleagues.com. Try to sign up to any of our 2 series, or this WTCR series and our GT3 series, which is run on Sundays. Both are fully subscribed at the moment, but you can still get in as a reserve driver and pretty much get a confirmed spot for all of the races, because there's always someone that drops out. As you could see, there were only 34 drivers on the grid today, so 2 more spots were available. In any case, see you in 2 weeks' time. Thanks for watching, and congratulations to our race winners of the Hungaroring round of our WTCR championship. Have a good night. Bye bye.